One.
Hi guys, welcome back and welcome to CP Physics. I'm Mr. Salona and here we're going to go over an outline basically of our syllabus for the course. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about required materials you need for the class, my contact info, and some extra help stuff. I'm going to talk about my expectations for you for class. We'll talk about grading breakdown and categories for grades. We're going to talk a little bit about lab guidelines and where to find information on Google Classroom. Okay, so first, my contact info. If you need to get in touch with me, email is the best way. And my email address is george.celona, CELONA, at ssdcougars.org. You can also see my phone number on here, 610-938-6221. You could call that at the school and leave a message, or your parents can if they need to. We're going to use Google Classroom for most of our class materials, so you'll see that classroom.google.com, and you'll sign up for that. And then also, we're going to use an online textbook, so physicsclassroom.com will be our primary source for our textbook. We will use some other books as well, mostly in class, but this will be our main source. Okay, so things you need for class. First, your Chromebook. Make sure it's charged and bring your charger every day. We're going to use the laptops a majority of the time, so you need to make sure that you have them and that they're charged. You're going to need a scientific or a graphing calculator, so a calculator that can do exponents, can do trigonometric functions, and do square roots, things like that. It doesn't have to be a grapher, but most of you have a TI-83 or a TI-84. That will work just fine. You're going to need two notebooks. So you need a regular notebook for class, and you also need a quadro rule. That's one that has graph paper inside. You need that for labs. So when we do labs, you have to have a lab notebook that's separate. And obviously you need writing utensils for class. Okay, makeups and extra help. Students are responsible for all makeup work. Makeup should be scheduled as soon as a student returns from absence. I will not seek out students to make up work. It is your responsibility. So I'm expecting that when you return from an absence that you come to me and ask about what you need to make up, if anything. You can even get in touch with me by email if you want to do it that way. But make sure that you stay on top of all missed work. I'm available for extra help almost always on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's after school. So you show up on a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday after school. I'll be happy to go over anything you want to go over. I can also be available other times. Maybe you need to meet in the morning, or you need to meet on a Tuesday after school or something like that. I can do that, but I need to communicate that in advance by email. So I need to schedule it. So if you need to meet on a different time, make sure you schedule it with me so I can make sure it can happen. Okay, so my expectations. First off, I expect you to engage in the classroom activities. All right, you're not going to get the most out of class if you show up, take up a chair, and breathe the air in the classroom. We need you to do more than that. So I want you to get involved. The nice thing about physics is it's very hands-on, and it applies to all sorts of things that we see every day. So it's very easy to see applications of it in our everyday lives. So get engaged, and that's going to help you to do well. Obviously, you need to follow the school rules. You need to show up and show up on time. I am expecting you to be in class on time every single day. Okay, if you're going to be absent or sick, obviously that's the exception to the rule, but you should be in class on time each time. I want you to clean up your mess, whether we're in the lab or we're working in groups. You need to make sure that you put things away the way they were when you came into the classroom, when you leave. Also, if you bring, a drink or something into class, that you dispose of it properly or whatever. Be open-minded, all right? We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different, abilities and skills. I want you to feel safe in the classroom, and for your peers to feel safe as well. So nobody should feel like they're ridiculed for an answer or anything like that. No electronics without permission. So no phones, no laptops without permission. All right, we'll be using the laptops a good amount in class, but I'll be very specific about what I want you to be doing with them. It is very rare that you will need your phone to do anything in the physics class, so you should not have it out. You should not be texting, and we're going to talk more about that in a couple of minutes. Turn in all work on time and be proud of it. I don't accept late work. You need to make sure that you turn things in on time, and that it's your best work. So make sure that you're turning in quality work. If you expect to get a good grade, then you have to expect to turn in your best work. Obviously, we have some students who have some accommodations, maybe an IEP or a 504 or something like that. You might get extended time. Obviously, I will work with you on those sort of things if that is your situation. But otherwise, I'm expecting all work to be turned in on the due date. And if you need to leave the classroom, follow the procedure for sign out and sign in, which I will go over with you in class. This slide, I think it's important that you actually go and look at the syllabus. It's on Google Classroom. It breaks down how this goes. I'm going to talk more about the class grade in a few minutes, which kind of impacts these expectations and procedures. Okay, so here's our grading breakdown. So you have tests and quarterly exams. We have about 2 tests a quarter. That's going to be 35% of your grade. Quizzes are going to be announced. It's like a mini test, 15% of your grade. Labs are a huge part of your grade. All right, we do roughly 4 to 7 labs a quarter, and it's a quarter of your grade, 25%. So that's really, really important. Homework, we will get homework most nights, I would say. It's not always checked. Sometimes it's checked for completion. Sometimes it is graded for accuracy. Your lowest grade will be dropped. It's 10% of your grade. I do warm-ups in class some days and checks for understanding some days, some exit tickets some days. They all go into the same category, and it's worth 10% of your grade. This last piece got a little messed up here. It says class grade 5%. So class grade is basically a combination of participation in class and managing my expectations in class. So the way it works is everybody starts out with an 85 in their class grade category. If you have infractions in class, I will subtract from that grade. Things like not having your materials that you need for class, like you didn't bring your laptop, or you take your phone out and you're playing with your phone during class. These are going to impact your class grade. Okay, in some cases, if it's more severe, in addition to your class grade, you're going to be referred to administration, you're going to get detention, those sort of things. If you're late for class, for example. So you want to make sure that you do that. On the flip side, if you're doing great in class, you're doing everything you're being asked, you're participating a lot, you're really involved, then I will raise your class grade above an 85. And it's completely possible that if you're involved a lot, that your class grade could be higher than 100. All right, and that will obviously bump your grade up. Okay, lab. So lab is a critical part of this class. You're in a science class. Physics is very hands-on, so lab is a super important part, and you need to be very involved in it. As far as grading is concerned, sometimes we're going to do pieces of a formal lab report, which I will walk you through the steps. But most of the time, we're going to be working in our lab notebook, and I'm going to go through exactly what I want from you in your lab notebook in class. The syllabus and Google Classroom also have resources to help you do a good job on labs, so follow their lead. Look at the syllabus, look at the examples that I've put online. Those are going to help you to do the notebook and do the lab reports in the way that I expect. Also, seek out my feedback on labs before you turn them in. So you can have me check your notebook, or if we're doing a formal lab report, you can have me take a look at it as a draft before you turn it in. I'd be happy to go over it with you and tell you what sort of things you can tweak to make it better before you turn it in, and that's going to obviously impact your grade in a positive way.